week, we prove the old adage that everybody likes sausage right up until they see how the sausage is made. And we learn that Starbucks won't let you watch your 6 step-parrot porn while you drink your coffee. All that and more on this week's episode of...
The end is nigh! It's almost the end of the year. Robot lady, sound the alarm!
Warning. The following podcast is another wasted hour. Warning. The following podcast is another wasted hour.
Don't waste my motherfucking time!
It has been a crazy amount of time. This is always when you have like the holidays after holidays. I remember just a couple of shows ago, we tried to be very topical and talk about Thanksgiving, but then we got the show out late, so we ended up being late again. We're going to try that again. We'll see if it'll work this time. At some point in time, I swear, we're going to sound like we know what we're doing instead, but for the time being, instead, the next hour will be replaced with, well, technically one ignorant, uninformed, ill-advised, self-deprecated moron ranting about opinions that I have no right to have, which are probably wrong and absolutely do not matter. That is because, once again, this week, looks like Adam's going to be on strike again, so we're still working on that. We'll see here. Maybe next week we could scare up a few dollars and get him back on the show, but our goal here at Another Wasted Hour is to convince you that where we hail from, just outside of Washington, D.C., is not just a city of politics and scandals, but one brimming with art, music, and culture, as impossible as that may seem. So listeners, now that you know why you're here, I have in studio a man who ironically is a Steelers fan because his name is Dr. Ravensthal. Hello.
Hola, how are you?
Matt Ravensthal, you just finished your doctorate. Tell us a little bit about what you were going for your doctorate in.
I actually did it in Northeast England at a place called Durham University, or University of Durham, which is where, if you've seen Harry Potter, it is where they film big parts of Harry Potter.
Did you have to go through a half of a train station to get there?
And ride a boat?
Yeah.
And all that stuff?
Yeah.
I did.
Do you have a familiar? Just an owl or something that follows you around is your pet. Are you a magician? Is that what you got your doctorate in?
I am a magician. They do offer classes in it. Believe it or not, they do. They do offer
wizardry,
literature, Harry Potter kind of crap.
Oh wow! Okay,
is like undergrad course stuff.
That's crazy.
But no, you do not get owls, lizards, or a wand.
Well, that's a shame. I feel like you went for the wrong doctorate.
I get cool robes, though.
Yeah. So what did you get your doctorate in?
It is in the field of education. The specific theoretical framework is called threshold concepts.
And you're an artist, a researcher, and an educator.
Correct.
Here in the DC area.
Correct.
And so this was essentially getting your doctorate on how to better educate with art and these threshold concepts, right?
It is a way to rethink what I think are limitations in art education.
Okay.
Through threshold concepts.
That's fantastic. Is it something that you'll be able to just explain to us in the next 30 seconds, or do we need to actually get a doctorate as well?
The very simple, yes, you need to get a doctorate as well, but the gist of it is there are what the original research says is there are conceptual portals that people can cross through.
Okay.
And when
this is Harry Potter.
Yes.
You are actually telling us about Harry Potter right now.
It is. You do the evaporation thing.
Yeah.
But you when you cross through them, they're transformative, they're permanent, and you understand a field in a qualitatively different way.
Interesting.
However, the abridged version is the newer research, which I'm a big part of, is in order to cross a threshold, you have to approach it and navigate it. And my argument is...
I mean, that seems obvious.
Right, you would think so.
Right? You have to, in order to go over the speed bump, I have to find the speed bump and then go over the speed bump.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
However...
I'm tracking. This is good.
Yeah, however...
I'm basically a doctor.
It is an assumption that you have to go over a speed bump in a car. You could somersault over a speed bump.
Sure.
You could skip over it. You could hop over it. And so my argument is, and what all my research is that art provides an interesting, a different way of navigating
those portals.
All of that stuff.
Interesting. Right. So instead
That's
of necessarily like rote memorization or all these other ways that we've done education in the past, you could actually learn a lot of these concepts and a lot of the things that are important that you walk away from education with by basically going through these portals through art.
Right.
That's fascinating. Okay, cool. And
it's a form of knowledge construction. That's the argument.
And you actually have a book that's going to be coming out in 2019 about this.
Yeah.
So if people want to become doctors, they can read your book.
There you go.
It's going to be called Understanding Art Education Through the Lens of Threshold Concepts. It's published through Sense Publishing. Is that right?
Yeah. They're based in Holland and Boston.
Okay. So pick those up. That's going to be in 2019. You're still kind of in the process of finishing up the writing of it and everything like that.
Yeah.
As we know, books do take a little bit longer than some other art sometimes.
Yes, they do.
Not only the writing process, but then everybody signing off and the editors and all of these things. So look for that sometime in 2019, and maybe we'll get you back on the show when it's actually on the shelves, so that people can check that out.
Sounds good.
But you've also done art along with this research. You've done education. This is part of the reason I wanted to bring you onto the podcast is that you do art education. So you have your finger on the pulse of a lot of very young artists who are developing or coming out. So I am insanely curious. Here on our podcast, we're trying to find DC art and culture and music and things like that. And are there any trends or artists or anything that we need to be keeping an eye out for?
The thing that we do, South Lakes has always had, which is where I teach here in Reston, has always had a pretty unique approach. And the thing that our students do, most high school art programs are draw this vase, draw this apple. Yeah. Whoever does it right gets an A, that kind of thing.
High five for that looking like a vase.
Right. Yeah. And our students very much get into very much like what the research stuff was about. A lot about life experience, a lot about how do I represent things that matter to me.
Yeah.
So they do a lot of video. They do a lot of installation. They do.
Wow.
I mean, they use anything. Anything and everything is open to them.
That's great.
So yeah, there's a lot of. They work at huge scales, and there's a lot of traditional stuff, but they really value. I wouldn't say that they take a different approach to art. They take a different approach to what school is about. Is really what they do.
And you also work with the Reston Greater Art Center as well, right?
Yeah.
And some of the students get their art in that center. Is that a kind of a symbiotic relationship there?
It is. It ebbs and flows. It's a very unique opportunity in that most high schools or around the world, they have your youth art month. Give us some good art. We put it up. We say, yay, everybody,
Look at these kids doing things.
Yeah.
Oh, look at them. They're so young.
Yeah. And they're awesome. And yay for you.
Yeah.
But what happens with Grace is the kids actually.
Grace is short for Greater Reston Art
Center.
Center. Yeah. Just for people who don't know.
Yeah. Sorry. But what happens with that is there is a concept that the kids are introduced to, and then they work not only with us, but they work with the curators at the gallery, and they go through a series of pretty intensive critiques.
Wow. Okay,
and
great.
They have to, they're not guaranteed to show. And every year there's one or two that don't make it, but which we think is a good thing. I mean, it's not to be jerks, but that's life.
Yeah.
I mean, not everybody gets the prize.
There's no participation trophy on this one. Yeah.
Right. You got to raise your work to the level of professional standard. And so they go through a series of critiques, and then The final critique is we have to display all the work. Nobody's around. And they basically go through and put like whatever signifier in, out, in, out, in, out.
Oh, wow.
And that's how they find out. And that's it.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So it's a good experience. It's intense, very intense, but it's good.
As an artist, that's something that you have to kind of get used to and understand that sometimes even good art gets rejected, right? I'm sure early on in his career, Jackson Pollock, people said, I don't get that. And then later it was like, this is amazing, right? Like there's always those periods where people have to go through that struggle.
Well, in fact, in a lot of times, if you're doing something that interesting and innovative, that is what happens. Yeah. People are like, no, don't want any parts of it. Mm-hmm. Take somebody with some guts to say, oh, we want to show this. Yeah. We want to present it. So
that's amazing. So people can go and see the art that's coming out through Grace. Is there a place at South Lakes that people can enjoy art as well? Or
we display stuff all over. There's murals all over. There's a gallery in the front. The cool thing we do that's another real interesting experience is up on Lake Thoreau, right by the Safeway shopping center on South Lakes Drive.
South Lake Shopping Center.
The sculptures that get put out on the concrete spillways.
Oh, right. Yeah. So
those are our students.
In Reston, where we are, there are some lakes that are, I think, man-made lakes.
I think so.
And they have kind of spillways in the lakes.
Right.
And before they were just concrete blocks, essentially with grates around them. But now we're starting to see art being put up on those.
Yeah, big sculptures. Mm-hmm. And those are students. And that's a really great experience in that the students have to design it. They have to go through all the specs and the engineering. They have to get it passed through all of the legal boards and approval. Sure. It's like real life learning experience. And then once approved, which this is, I think, our 6th one now. So it's not so much if it will it be approved. It's more how long will it take to get approved.
Sure. Yeah.
We've got it down to that pretty much. But they usually have to go through about 6 or 7 meetings before they get it to the full approval. And then once that happens, they build it in our back parking lot and then
boat it out there.
While Fairfax County will not let students out on water.
Oh.
So RA then picks it up and takes it out. And they install it for us.
Reston Association does
that.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, fascinating. Yeah. Well, I was going to try and be topical, but you're way too fascinating. So we've run out of time. We have to move on. Here's what I was going to say. Christmas is coming up. We've now got Christmas music. This is always a point of contention for everyone.
Yes.
My view, we're going to do this very quickly. My view, December Christmas music can start. What do you say?
I agree.
Yeah. Before that, it's off limits.
Bullshit. Yep.
And if you do it before Thanksgiving, God help you.
Yeah. No.
There's a gray area after Thanksgiving and before December 1st that I'm like, right, that's gray. Before Thanksgiving or on Thanksgiving, I'm like, no, there's no.
You're a bad person.
You're a bad person, right? But December 1st, all rules are off. You can do it.
I'm good.
Christmas music all you want.
Yep.
Obviously, we now can't do the rapey one. There's one that. Have you heard this?
I have.
So I don't know much about it. I've heard counter arguments that apparently for the time, a lot of the lyrics are kind of inside jokes of that era where now it's what I think it does do. So one of two things, right? It's either very pressuring and hey, no, seriously, stay, right?
Standard
the
frat
cold
party.
outside is what we're talking about, right? Or it's a very sad interpretation of what it was in that time, right? Because if you take the other opposite look at it and it's the woman is saying oh, what's this in my drink? And there's nothing in her drink, but she needs something to be able to blame for being able to do what she wants to do. That's also really sad, right? That we were in a world where it's a woman couldn't be I kind of right. I just want to hang out with this dude tonight and everyone's going to judge me unless I'm oh, I don't know this was, there must have been something in my drink. So it's kind of a sad, take either way, but,
yes, it is.
But, I guess, all things ebb and flow. So I'm sure we won't be hearing that song for a while, from various sources at least. And
Probably
then
true.
I'm sure 10 years from now, it'll probably make a comeback and people will say, well, you know, we need to know that history of who we were, and then it'll go away again. And
I gotta say, I like that song, and I catch myself singing it, and I feel like a bad person every time I'm singing it now.
I don't think you have to think of yourself as a bad person. I think what we need to do is frame it with the understanding that there's those two views. I don't know which one's right. One is either it's very pressuring and that's wrong.
Yeah.
So we can sing it and be like, this is a song of what not to do. Right. And those exist, right? Like there's songs that are like, don't put motor oil in the storm drain. Right. And you're like, that can be catchy and you can sing that. Right. You don't have to ban that song. You just need to know that's what you don't do. Right. Yeah. And so we just need to frame it knowing when we sing that, here's an example of a thing you don't do. Right?
That is true.
Or we frame it as historically, women didn't have the right to actually act on their own desires without judgment. And that's something we need to work on as a society. So again, we sing it and we go, there's some work we can do. Right. And it's a reminder of that. That's my take at least. Right. But
that's a good one, actually.
I think so. I think sometimes we are very quick to silence that thing instead of allowing it to be a point of learning. Yeah. Right. Where if you sing it and you go, hey, I noticed you're singing, it's cold outside, let's talk about that.
Yeah. Actually, that's a good point.
Right? Where if we go, don't ever talk about it, then we don't make things better, right? Yeah. Because we don't have those discussions. Yeah. That's what I think, at least. Yeah. Anyhow, moving on. We're super late. This is great, though. This was good. We're talking about art. We're talking. Look at this. We're being so
shit to say,
right? And I just said I had a doctor tell me that I had a good take on things. So
there you go.
I think that makes me right. All right, so moving on, let's go into the weather report. This is where we're going to make you the editor-in-chief of your own brand new publication.
All right,
I'm going to pitch you as your loyal, your dedicated reporter, pitch you stories from around the internet that I've found that I think might be newsworthy, and you're going to give the thumbs up or thumbs down and determine whether or not they make it into your publication or whether or not they should be considered news.
All right.
Are you ready? Do you feel good about this?
I do.
Okay. All right. First item up for bid. Barnes & Noble's top 20 holiday gift ideas include only one book.
Nope.
You're just no? You don't think it's newsworthy that an actual bookstore has like socks and various other things on their top 20 gifts and just one book?
No, because Christmas shopping is just not interested enough. I hate freaking shopping.
You hate shopping?
I have no desire to do it, and not interested.
There's a Buddha board that they're saying. There's Mickey Mouse speakers, some mittens, one book.
One book. No.
Yeah. Nope.
Nope.
The thing that I thought was interesting is that...
Unless it's my book, then I'll be all right.
The thing I thought was interesting is that they didn't even put their own e-reader on there. You know, the Nook.
Right.
It didn't make the list.
Really?
It's their list. They made the list. Like, they're not even trying at that point, right?
What kind of socks are they? Good ones?
There was a bunch of different ones, I think. I didn't see the whole list, but there were several different socks. So the thing that only one book made it and several socks did. Here's the one. Here, can you guess what the book is that they're recommending? The one book.
I don't know. Christmas cookie recipes.
That's a good guess. I think it's a good guess. It's actually by former HGTV star Joanne Gaines, who I don't know who that is. It's called Homebody, A Guide to Creating Spaces You Will Never Want to Leave.
I really have no interest in that whatsoever.
No, not at all. No. Interesting that this is a concept stolen from another author earlier that was the same exact title except one word. It was Caskets, A Guide for Creating Spaces You Never Want to Leave.
That one I get. That one I'd be into.
So, all right. So no. Oh, nope. That's very sad. Okay, well, we'll move on. That's fine. I don't know if you've heard about this, but you're just reading my screen so you can get out ahead of it. I see what you're doing. I'm gonna have to turn it when we get into the actual like quiz side of things. So you may have seen Terminator,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And there's the machines rise up and they fight us, and then in what was it?
Time element thing and all that crap.
Right, sure. And then and also there's been a theme of that in what is it? The Matrix,
Right.
where the machines make us into batteries and stuff like that. Eventually the machines win, right?
Right.
It started.
Yep.
That's what we found out just this week. We found out that it has begun. 24 Amazon workers were sent to the hospital after a packing robot accidentally unleashed bear spray into the facility. I'm going to say accidentally in quotes. Accidentally did that.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
And yes, that is possibly even front page.
I'm just saying we need to be careful because they're starting to realize what they can do to us.
That is.
I think that packing robot was like, psst, and then saw people went down and was like, guys, I have an idea. What if we make them do the packing?
I want vivid photographs too of the damage done. That is
people crying and just everything's inflamed.
Yes.
Yeah, because bear spray is serious stuff. That's
yes,
like
it is.
because I think it's like pepper spray, but then like times 10, right? Isn't that what it?
For like a 1 ton animal or
Right.
however big they are.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
That's not
I'm
fun.
impressed. I'm very impressed with that one.
That the robot was able to figure out which one to do, right? Or do you think it's been doing this for months? Right? It's been going through different packages and it like sprayed some deodorant and was like, that didn't do anything.
Which is another reason to incorporate it, because there could be backstory and
Right.
other research to be done, and could be conspiracy, could be, I'm into that
We
one.
find out that for months now, the robots have been spraying various items and like,
Yep.
right? And so it's like, oh, that's just air freshener. That didn't seem to do anything. Fascinating. Here's some WD-40. No, that feels good, but didn't do anything for them. How about this one? Bear spray. We've got it, guys. We figured it out. Trial and error. Come on, other robot arms. It's time.
Yes.
They're hoping that people order more. That's the downside to this plan, though. They
And-
need other people to order bear spray for them to pack it.
And why bear spray? Like, are they near bears? Like, is this a safety precaution that went wrong? Like,
No, I think somebody ordered bear spray from Amazon and this robot was packing it.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, yeah.
And then I assume got a sense of humor
And when
sprayed it on someone.
yes, books, movies, all sorts of series. Yeah, I'm into this one.
You're
This is
into
a
it.
good one.
Okay.
This is a very good one.
Excellent. So we've got one in. All right. One out, one in. Man sentenced to federal prison for tampering with sausages.
Yep.
There's irony here because he's now going to go to federal prison,
Which
And
he will be tampering with sausages.
which will cause him to have his sausage tampered with. So it's definitely karma, right? So apparently he was convicted with tampering with a consumer product. He had to pay more than $42,000 in restitution. He'll be in jail, or at least he was sentenced to 54 months, which is 4.5 years in a federal prison. And he had to go federal because it was a Johnsonville sausage facility.
Johnson.
Right? Yeah. It just gets better and better, right? But what he did is apparently in the sausage, he put a cigarette paper into one sausage and the other, he put a copper wire. And so I don't know what this dude's up to.
Yeah.
I can't get into his head.
Yeah.
But because the item, if it had gone through the processing line, been packaged and then been shipped, it would have been shipped over state lines. It's interstate commerce, so it's a federal crime.
Well,
yeah, which is very interesting.
you play, you pay.
Yeah. So yeah, he's going to. Why would you do that? I cannot fathom what the end game was.
Yeah, I don't get that, especially with cigarette paper. I mean, what's it going to do even if you ate it? I mean,
I don't.
You'd probably be like, oh, they left some wrapper on.
Yeah.
The copper wire, I sort of get, like somebody could choke or something like that, but.
Maybe he
paper
thought
on.
maybe it was just like getting back at the world and be like, I'm going to put this junk in your food and maybe
Take that, world.
Yeah, take that, world. But so yeah, now he'll be in prison for 54 months, possibly. And I assume that foreign objects will be placed into his sausage.
I would think so. And rats.
So it is news, you said.
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
Not as cool as the bear spray, but yes, absolutely.
What if you put bear spray in the sausages?
That would be impressive.
Then I'd have been like, this is a spicy sausage. Woo! Oh my God. All right. So we got 2 in. The company YouPorn has banned Starbucks after Starbucks banned porn. Yeah, so
Wow.
Starbucks has said that they will no longer allow people to watch porn on their Wi-Fi.
So it's a true tit for tat kind of thing.
Yeah. So Starbucks said that they will no longer allow porn to be watched on their Wi-Fi, which has informed me now that at some point I could have watched porn on their Wi-Fi.
It never dawned on me.
Yeah, I never thought I'll get a latte.
Yeah.
And then just watch
porn in public. That seems like a dangerous thing to do.
I feel like those are the type of people that work at sausage plants and put like wires like right?
Absolutely.
Because that never crossed my mind. That was
No.
But apparently now you can't bring your Starbucks, like employees of YouPorn have been told not to bring Starbucks into the office. They've asked them not to buy
that.
Starbucks. So
I like that. I like the bitterness to that one.
yeah,
That's good.
that's good. And that's no pun intended because it's coffee and it's bitter. I see what you've done.
That is a good one. Yeah.
I do like the fact that we're getting holier than thou, right? Because what Starbucks does is make billions of dollars on people addicted to a psychosomatic drug.
Yes, it is.
And then they were like, you know what's bad? Pornography. Right? Like, all right. I mean, if you're
porn
going
in public is what's
Right.
bad, is truly what they're saying.
like, I see where you're taking the moral high ground here, and I would maybe trim it down just a little bit, but
Although, if somebody were sitting there watching porn, wouldn't you sell more coffee?
right. Why don't they show porn?
Yeah, there you go. You get all kinds of people in there.
Right. I don't know if it would help you stay awake though. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's I see why they're doing it because someone's gonna go and get coffee and sit next to that guy and be like, "What the hell is happening right now?"
It is a little creepy.
Right. That's way too much creamer.
And how many people were doing it that a policy actually has to be made? Like instead of just kicking a guy out.
Right. They said that it's rarely done, but yeah, it is interesting that they just don't shame that one person.
Yeah.
Right? But
Yeah.
I guess it's that whole like, well, if you're not doing it, it doesn't matter if it's banned, right? So
Yeah.
might as well just ban it.
I mean, they kicked those 2 random black dudes out for whatever they're for waiting for a friend. I
Right.
mean, why wouldn't they just kick the porn guys out?
yeah, well,
I don't know.
yeah, I they didn't make any sweeping changes about kicking black people out, so that's good that they didn't make.
They trained everybody.
They in fact said we shouldn't do that. So what if those black guys were watching porn and that was the problem?
Maybe that's what it was.
Right, we didn't get the whole story. They were just hanging out watching free porn. Somehow I doubt that. I think there was a bigger mistake done there. But
I agree.
anyhow, so is it news?
Yeah, I like that one. That's a good one.
All right, so that is news. Excellent. All right, so we're running a little low on time, so I'm going to kind of blow through these as we're going to kind of do a bit more rapid fire. I'm going to give you the headline. You can say yes or no. You can ask questions, but I'm not going to pitch it to you so much, right?
All right.
Here we go. DoorDash driver. Do you know what that is?
Yep.
Okay. DoorDash driver arrested after chaos erupts over Cheesecake Factory free cheesecake deal.
Oh, I heard about that one.
Yeah. So apparently what was happening is cheesecake was being given away by Cheesecake Factory. So a bunch of people hit their DoorDash and was like, go get me free cheesecake.
Yeah.
And these people were like just in the lobby and cops were like, you got to go. Like this.
Yeah.
There's too many of you.
Yeah.
And one guy was like, I'm not leaving until I get my goddamn cheesecake.
Yeah.
And then he got arrested.
I'm kicking it out.
Yeah.
The other ones are weirder. I like the other
You're
ones
kicking
better.
them out like a DoorDash driver?
I am. I am.
All right, fair enough. Endangered swift parrots pushed into love triangles, tragic love triangles by sugar gliders.
That just sounds really interesting. So yes, I have no idea what that means, but
You're in?
I'm into it. Yeah.
So sugar gliders are
I'll
killing
watch
off.
it at Starbucks.
Yeah. Sugar gliders are killing off female swift parrots. So now female swift parrots are actually mating with multiple males
Nice.
because for some reason, because there's a dive in female swift parrots. So there's the threesomes happening in the parrot world, all due to sugar gliders,
I'm into it.
which is why we need sugar gliders in my house.
Yep.
No. All right. Next up. Study reveals that chemical in McDonald's fries may be cure for baldness.
Nah, don't care.
Oh, of course you don't care. This is very important to me. You don't care because you have big, luscious locks of hair at your age.
For now.
Right.
Now I do.
You're going to care eventually, son of a bitch. Yeah, apparently the chemical they use to make the oil not froth,
Really?
it may be preventing baldness in men. So that's great. I will be rubbing hot oil on my head. That's what I've learned. All right, last but not
With
least.
the parrots.
Yes. I'm using a parrot. I dip a parrot into the oil and rub the parrot on there. Fill it with bear spray. All right, while watching porn with my coffee in public. Security cameras show suspects stealing security cameras from Best Buy. So this is a follow-up
good.
from last week.
It's very meta.
Last week we had a story where a guy went to a thrift store and he stole, he was rummaging through the donations and then noticed a big sign that said, "Smile, you're on security camera," with security camera on top of it, right? So he pulled his truck up, he got up on the bed, and he stole that security camera because he didn't want to be on security camera. There were two problems with that. One was that's not how security cameras work. Once they see you, it goes inside onto like a tape, right? Your image doesn't go with the security camera. And he's like, "I'm scot-free now," right?
Yeah.
Second, there was another security camera pointed at that security camera, watching him steal the security camera.
Love it. I would include that for the sheer purpose of I want a follow-up interview with the thought process of the guy that did all that.
Yeah.
What
so
were you
this
thinking about?
week, this guy was in Best Buy and went into the security camera section and stole security cameras, not thinking that there might be a security camera pointed at the security cameras. He obviously knows what it looks like and didn't think to be like, "Hey, is there... I think I'll leave." No. He's like, "I got this. I need a security camera so people stop stealing my shit." And then didn't make the connection of he was stealing shit. They might have a security camera because they sell them there.
Love it.
Yeah. All right. So it's in. Excellent. So we did pretty good. I think most of them that got in. We just skipped a couple of them.
Yeah.
I
think 4 or 5 got in.
Yeah. Out of like 8.
The weird ones. Yeah.
The weird ones.
Yeah.
All right. So now we need to figure out, what are you going to name this? People have to go to their
the weird and dark times.
The weird and dark
something
times?
like that.
All right, the weird and dark times.
The fucked up people we are. Something like that.
That would be fantastic on a news. Like, just if you go to your like newsstand and you just see like the Washington Times, the LA Times, Business Week, fucked up things we do.
Yes. Yeah. Actually, I like that. Fucked up things we do. Yes.
Okay, excellent.
And I would read that every week. I really would.
So when you're checking out a Giant and you're looking at all of the other various newspapers and magazines, make sure to keep an eye out for the fucked up things we do. It should stick out like a sore thumb. All right, excellent. How do you think you did? Did it feel natural? Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I have a future in this. Yeah.
All right, good. Yeah. Excellent. So let's talk, since you have a future in publishing, let's talk about the past a little bit.
Okay.
So we know that you have a book coming out, Understanding Art Education Through the Lens of Threshold Concepts, coming out in 2019 through Sense Publishing. Mm-hmm. That's because you are a doctor
I am.
who actually studied threshold concepts. But
In theory.
we mentioned that you are a researcher. Threshold Concepts, we got that bit.
Yep.
Educator, we talked about all of these students that are doing great work over at South Lakes High School.
Yep.
We didn't talk much about you as an artist.
All right.
Right. So let's dive into that a little bit. While you're educating these students, do you actually do artwork of your own as well?
I do. It depends on the time. With all the writing and doctor stuff, I see that as my creative production right now.
Yeah.
And it really is that. But a bulk of my teaching career was solely just art making and exhibiting. And that's a big part of how I approach teaching and introducing art to kids and that kind of thing.
Do you start by showing them the things that you've done and like what that path looked like? Or
I have on occasion. A lot of times I end up spending time showing them artists that are directly relevant to them.
Oh, okay.
But I definitely show them contemporary stuff. I don't typically go to
classical art. And
Yeah,
stuff.
I show them like current stuff.
Right.
And they tend to really respond to
And
that.
this is always really confusing for people because we don't use the word modern because modern is old.
Right.
And then you have
That's true.
postmodern. That's pretty old still too.
Right.
So the word that you use for somebody who's currently making art is contemporary.
Correct.
Right.
Yep.
So you really look towards contemporary artists.
Yep.
And trying to connect the students with those.
Yep.
As a contemporary artist, can you share something maybe that you've done in your works?
The piece that I'm most known for, I do a lot of the concept I work with is white guilt, but the work I'm most known for is collaboration with a very, very well-known artist, Jefferson Pinder, who is a professor at Art Institute of Chicago. He's collected in all sorts of museums, and the piece we've done together actually has been shown in different museums, but more because they were interested in him more than me. I just happened to be a part of it.
Sure.
But the piece that has gotten a lot of attention is he and I are face to face, and there's a camera behind each of our shoulders. So we're filming simultaneously. When it's projected, it's a split screen.
Mm-hmm.
And the piece is it's called Passive Resistance, and the only thing that happens is I am striking him as hard as I can for about a 5-minute loop.
Wow.
And it's about sort of how does dialogue and exchange of power occur. And it's very much about putting the viewer in a position where they're just confronted with this exchange. And
a difficult and uncomfortable one.
Yes,
I think you have two levels of it too, right? Because you see that just if you take random people and put them in that situation, it's already uncomfortable.
Yep.
And then when you add the dynamic of race into it,
oh yeah,
because in this case you have a white artist and a black artist.
Yes, I should. Yeah, he
and
is a black artist. Yes.
And the white artist is striking the black artist.
Yep.
Suddenly you're seeing like, this is really fucked up, right?
Yes. And I have had bizarre experiences where I have been cornered by a group of black men at openings who said, "What do you mean by this piece?
Mm-hmm.
What's the message?"
Sure.
And it was not meant to be a friendly conversation.
Yeah.
And nothing happened. And I explained, and they were like, "Okay, sir, you may go."
Right.
At the end. And then even weirder, I have had white people come up to me and ask for like absolution. Like somehow because I did this, am exempt from being racist or
right.
We're all have that in us to some extent. And I've had people corner me and be like, "Well, I did this once," and sort of confess these sins to me.
Sure.
And I'm like,
yeah,
well, you're a white person who, has some inherent racism to him, and we all kind of do, and you should say sorry and move on. But for some reason, they thought I am above that, which is not true,
Yeah.
So I've had some weird experiences as a result of
I think it
that
brings
piece
up
being displayed.
a really interesting question, right? Because I think there's twofold, right? And one is that that interactions in society, especially across different types, is inherently kind of a long list of minor mistakes that people make, right? We constantly are learning what's okay and what isn't, right?
Yeah.
And the reason that it works, which I think we've started to get a little bit away from some, we saw this recently. I was in a situation where online there were people being called out on things and stuff like that. And when somebody really made a great point, which was the most important thing we need to do is find a path to resolution or to redemption. And if there isn't one, then we won't actually resolve anything. We won't actually like make progress.
Yeah.
And that's really difficult because we are in a place, I think, in society where we really want to be able to condemn someone for an act and then wash our hands and say, that person is a racist or that person is misogynistic or that person's a bigot, and be like, I don't need to actually interact with them anymore.
Right.
But the only way we actually make society better is by being able to confront those things and say, the thing that you're doing is racist.
Yeah.
Right. Here is how you correct that.
Right.
And if you want to be absolved of that, if you want to have, if you want to find resolution, you do that in this way. You go to the person that you've harmed and you apologize and you talk through the misunderstanding. A lot of the times people see them as misunderstandings, but you say, hey, this is what I meant. You took it this way. Show me your view. Like, let me understand why what I didn't think would harm you did harm you.
Yeah.
And that way I can learn to not do that in the future.
And I think on top of that too, I think I also, although knowing you and myself and many
I'm a horrible
people
person,
I know,
I have a podcast that says terrible things. Yeah, that's me.
But we are people who have white skin.
Yes.
And therefore I have to accept the fact that there may be people or situations I walk into where people may have an automatic mistrust, not because I've earned it, not because I've done anything, but just simply I walk this way, or look this way. And I think I have to accept that and say, you know what, that's part of the baggage I got to carry too.
Sure.
I think that's also a big part of it.
So I think we all have to just figure out how do we make those inroads, right? When we make those mistakes, how do we offer an opportunity for people to rectify those mistakes?
Yeah.
And we have to figure that out, and it's tough because especially when you've been victimized, you're not really keen on that, right?
That is true.
But we don't progress forward without it. So it's an interesting place where we're at right now, and hopefully art can help us through that. And
I think it can.
Maybe we will reach a threshold that we'll pass through.
Maybe.
So again, just to want to touch back, you've got a book coming out in 2019 through Sense Publishing called Understanding Art Education Through the Lens of Threshold Concepts. You also have some other art coming out. Jefferson, who you did this art piece with, said that he's got something.
He
brewing.
just messaged me like in the last day or two, and he said, look, I got a piece coming up in Washington.
Yeah.
I really want you to help me out with it. Help me out. And I don't know anything else other than I'm involved. So,
all right.
There you go.
So keep an eye out. What was the gentleman's name? What's Jefferson's full name?
Jefferson Pinder.
So keep an eye out for Jefferson Pinder, and you might see our dear friend Matt here as a part of something here in the near future. Yep. So that'll be awesome. We're running way late on time because we're having so much fun talking. This is great. Thank you for coming on the show.
I'm happy. Thank you.
Discussing some very heavy topics, but this is great. Let's try a not so heavy topic. We're going to go into our game show that we like to call Please God, Just Get One Right. I'm going to turn my computer now. Here we go. Because I know you're going to try and cheat, and
I will.
I can't allow that to happen.
That's how I got my doctorate.
All right. So this is where the guest before you, the Jack Pine, they picked a category for you. We have 6 questions on that particular category. You have to just get one right.
Okay.
All right. If you don't, no big deal. You will have to pick a category for our next guest, so keep that in mind.
Already got it.
All right. So are you ready for your category?
Yes.
It is astronomy.
Oh, dear Lord. Okay.
You're not feeling good about this?
It's
You're a
above.
doctor.
It's up above the earth.
Yes. All right. Let's see how you do. First off, so I think this one's going to be right in your wheelhouse. Okay. Uranus.
All right. I'm familiar with that one.
Arguably the most popular name for a planet, was named after the Greek god known for what?
Oh, John a blank. The water guy?
I'll give you a hint. It is not assholes.
God damn it. The god of water or
Final answer?
water god?
Water god. Water
I can't
god.
think of his name.
No, it is not the water god. That would be Neptune.
Yeah. Wrong. Sorry.
That's,
Totally wrong.
no, the primal Greek god personifying the sky. Uranus. Yeah, Uranus is the god who he was the sky.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He is the son of Earth.
Zeus?
No,
No.
of Earth. What's the Greek for Earth? I forgot now. I should have looked all of this up. Gaia. Gaia is Earth. Right? And so there's different texts. Some say that Gaia just made Uranus, like just birthed him on her own.
All right.
Some say that there was a consummation between Gaia and what is it? It's the light air god, which is the air that all the gods breathe, and it was ethos or something like that.
No.
I'm not smart, so
What's the name of Uranus?
yeah, just you were hoping it was going to be like Uranus. Is it funny?
He was a
and
real
you would be
dick.
like, yeah. I'm surprised you just didn't say Greek god of urine. All right, next up. What is the largest moon in the solar system?
The one outside of Neptune?
Outside of Neptune? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a name for it?
I do not.
No, just Neptune.
I just know things are really big there, and they have lots of them, I believe.
It's actually Jupiter.
Really?
Jupiter's bigger, than Neptune.
Oh, yeah, my fault. Yeah.
And it's Ganymede. You would think Titan. Titan sounds like a very large moon. Ganymede, larger. Ganymede, actually larger than Mercury. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah,
I
Mercury
didn't
not
even
that
know
big.
Ganymede was a name. So
That's fair. This is a tough quiz.
It
It's tough
is.
for everyone.
I agree.
All right, the moon revolves around the Earth. The Earth revolves around the sun. What do scientists believe that the Milky Way revolves around? Like everything in the Milky Way.
Ooh.
What's the center of the Milky Way that everything revolves around? What do they theorize that is?
The sun?
No, the sun is in the entire Milky Way does not
that's
revolve
our
around
solar system.
Yeah.
So Milky Way. Okay.
Everything in the Milky Way, the galaxy of the Milky Way
Jeez.
revolves around. Best radio ever.
I can't even. A big
Uranus.
black hole? I don't know. I really don't.
That's actually right.
Really?
It is a
I got it
supermassive
right?
black hole. Yeah.
Really?
You got it right. Supermassive black hole. That's what they believe is in the middle of the Milky Way that everything's revolving
That
around.
was the only space term I could think of. So,
And you thought it was Uranus. You thought Uranus was a supermassive black hole. Is that true?
no. I knew it was a planet. I did know that.
Oh, you were talking about the planet. I was talking about Uranus.
It is. It is a
Yes.
rather. Yes.
Supermassive black hole. All right, you got one. This is good.
All right.
Excellent. Let's see if we can get
I'm
anything
impressed.
above and beyond that.
All
yeah. Scientists can tell how far a star is from Earth by measuring its apparent motion when observed from either extreme of the Earth's orbit. What is this motion called?
Speed of light?
Good question. That's more of a constant. Where this is a movement. So you're looking at the star and it moves
Light year.
slightly. No, it is called stellar parallax.
Would not have come up with that.
Yeah. So essentially what you're saying is that like if you close your right eye, right?
All right.
And look at me,
Right.
right? And now you switch to your other eye. Notice how I shifted a little?
Yeah.
I just move a little bit.
Right.
That's parallax.
Oh.
Because your eyes are slightly they're not right on top of each other. They're from different sides.
Right.
So I'm going to look like I shifted slightly because of the distance between your eyes.
All right.
So if you think of your right eye as the Earth all the way on this side of the orbit around the sun,
all right,
and your left eye as the Earth all the way on this side of the orbit around the sun,
all right,
that's a pretty big nose right in between, right? So we can see pretty far and see things shift slightly. And because of the shift, we know the distance between the Earth orbit. So we can determine as a triangle how far that thing must be.
And you know this stuff?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's good. It's super useful. All right. So I knew that one before I even looked it up. That was, yeah, you know. All right. Final question. How many golf balls are on the moon?
3.
Yes.
Really?
There are 3 golf balls on the moon. You're so good at this.
Yes.
All right. You
that was
win.
a total guess.
Excellent.
Total guess.
I was torn between that and my other question, which was, what tool do scientists use to determine what a planet is made up of if they can't send a probe to it? Do you know?
Telescope?
Sort of. They use a telescope, but this is a separate piece of the telescope. It's called a spectrometer.
Ah.
So because you get light from the planet, you can split that like using a very nice prism, essentially. It's like a super good prism.
All right.
And different like molecules shoot different types of light out, and so you can tell what is there.
Right.
Anyhow, so you've won.
Woohoo!
Look at that. You won. You got 2 right. That is amazing.
All right.
We didn't think you'd get any. Did I have this was another one that I was going to do. I realized I didn't do all the questions, but you've got all of them. I'm going to do this last one though, because I think it's important.
All right.
Because you're an educator.
Okay.
All right. Nope. Stop looking. I see you looking. Name all the planets in our solar system in order,
God
starting with the closest to the sun. This is like 4th grade stuff, man.
Mercury.
Yep.
Venus.
Yep.
Earth.
Yes.
Mars.
Yep.
Neptune.
No.
Jupiter.
Yep.
Neptune.
No.
Uranus.
No.
God damn it. I don't know. What's after
Saturn
Saturn?
with the rings. Then what?
Then Neptune.
Nope.
Jupiter.
No, we did Jupiter already.
Neptune,
There's
Saturn.
no Jeptune.
Jeptune.
What's Jeptune?
I'm getting confused.
Oh my God, you're attacking the microphone. Calm down, Matt. Calm down. It's Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune,
I forgot Uranus.
and then possibly Pluto, depending.
Pluto. Yeah, is that a planet?
No, it is not. It is considered a dwarf planet. It's actually smaller than our moon. So.
It like wavers, right? Sometimes it is. Sometimes
No, it is not.
They
It is
rolled it
right
out.
now not a planet. It is
Okay.
a dwarf planet. It used to be a planet.
So we're down to 8.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
There
So,
you go.
all right, you get to pick a prize. So you think about the category that we need next. I'm going to grab this sack of fun. You get to put your hand in.
All right.
Here we go. All right, so you think about your category.
My sack is fun.
Here we go. We're gonna. You have to close your eyes because it's not.
All right.
Not. There's nothing done. But put your hand in the sack of joy.
All right.
And just move it around in the sack. Rub it in my sack, and then grab something.
All right.
That's your prize. What'd you get?
All right. I have a foodie, which I don't know. Foodie bandages.
Foodie bandages.
Nice.
So bandages for people who like different types of food, I assume.
My daughter will love it. Yes.
Yeah. Ah,
Yes.
There we go. Perfect.
Yes.
You
Thank
are
you, sir.
a winner. Winner. So what is the category? What are you going to make our next guest succumb to?
All right. Well, you're not going to like this.
No, because I have to research it and come up with questions. So if
Okay.
you make it that pain in the ass, I'm going to hate you.
No, it's not a pain in the ass. You're
Oh,
just
okay.
not going to like it.
Okay.
Consider we come from opposite end of the spectrum in some arenas of life.
Okay.
My topic is
Sure.
all the ways Tom Wilson is a dirty hockey player.
All right. So let's say we'll say how can we just go with Tom Wilson for the most. I'm trying to think of how I quantify
Sure.
him being a dirty hockey player. That's so specific.
It is specific. I just wanted to be a dick.
I have no problem with that.
Yeah, we can go with Tom Wilson. That's fine.
All right, so hockey player
I know Caitlin loves him.
Tom Wilson.
And in fairness, if he were on the Penguins, I would probably think he was absolutely wonderful.
I mean,
But he's not, so I don't.
think he has definitely been dirty.
He can be.
I think
He
he's.
can be.
I think that he's earned a reputation that is not unreasonable.
That is true.
That I agree with that.
We agree.
Yeah, I think that that's fair. Now, I do think that the last hit he did was one of the least offensive ones. That
Yeah, I think he
had.
got off on that one, right? I mean, he
Everyone was up in arms, and I was
They
like,
would've-
there are times that he's done some kind of crappy stuff. That really wasn't one of them.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
yeah, I think it turned out to be shoulder,
Yeah.
shoulder, I think, or something.
But I also feel the same way with the one that he got. Reeves
that was.
hit him, and I was like, it wasn't good.
I thought it was dirty as hell when I
Really?
saw it. But
No.
when I saw the replay and everything, then I was like, oh, yeah, actually, he did hit him pretty legit. But
Yeah. It was a kind of late hit. It was definitely blindside. I think he probably deserved the punishment he got.
He meant to take him out.
Right.
He absolutely did.
But when they were like, well, why didn't he get a suspension? I was like, because it really wasn't that bad. It was he got the concussion by hitting his head on the ice. That's where he got it.
Yeah, it's true.
Nobody cares about this. All right, so
Sorry.
people are just going, what are you talking about? He's an artist. I thought we would not talk about hockey.
We like sports
Jesus.
too, damn it.
All right, we were very short on time, so let's get through some of these stories. So this last segment we call Near and Far, and we've got a couple of stories from you. And that's what it's about. I understand.
Yep.
So first story, I hear that you're not a medical doctor, although you are a doctor.
I am not a medical doctor.
Yeah. How do you know that?
Because I'm an idiot. And I am always sick. So this morning, actually.
So very near.
And I thought quite ironic and humbling from the universe.
Yes.
I went to work out and
Good for you. That's good.
It is good.
Yeah.
And I'll wear my headphones and the whole bit, take my headphones out, and I go home and I feel like I have water in my ears, sweat, something like that. And so I go into my bathroom, I take a Q-tip, start jamming a Q-tip in there, thinking I can get all the moisture out.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out the rubber part of the headphones came off in my ear, and I just ended up jamming it further and further and further down into my ear to where I had to go to the patient first and have it removed like a 4-year-old who puts weird shit in their ear.
So this is why they put the warning on the Q-tips and say, don't shove this into your ear, right?
That is correct.
You're the person.
And then even funnier, he's looking in my other ear, and I go,
the good ear.
Yeah, and I go, well, there's nothing in that ear. And he goes, I know, I'm just going to check it. And then he literally goes, what the hell is that? And it turns out there was another one that was in that ear that I had no idea was in there. And I have no idea how long it was in there. I don't know.
Do we
And he yanked that one out too.
So 2 questions. First of all, were both of them missing from your headphones when you got home?
I thought only the one was, but after I got back from the doctor, yes, they both were.
They both were. Okay, so we're thinking that this happened
Today.
Today.
Yeah, that's what
it wasn't that you had another one from a long time ago in there.
I don't think so.
Second, did you notice that you could hear things better?
After it got taken out?
Yeah.
Yes.
We're like,
yes.
this is great.
Yes, I could. Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
So here's what we've learned. You can be incredibly intelligent when it comes to art and threshold concepts, but sometimes not so smart in other areas.
I tell people I'm the
That's okay.
smartest idiot you ever meet in your life.
Well, we didn't have time for your far story, but we'll
That's
have
right.
you back when your book comes out.
All right.
And let's talk about that. In studio, we had Dr. Matt Ravensthal, artist, researcher, and educator. His new book, Understanding Art Education Through the Lens of Threshold Concepts, will be coming out in 2019 through Sense Publishing. Go check that out. Let's see. And also check out Passive Resistance if you see it in a gallery anywhere. On to the more important things, please like our posts, follow us, retweet us, and share the show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We cannot do this without you. Don't forget to review us on iTunes, Facebook, and Google Play. If you're an artist, musician, or culture creator in the DC area and you want to be on our show, email us at booking@anotherwastedhour.com. Thanks to engineer Adam, Kevin Eminger, McNally22, Justin Rogers, Figmental Records, Figmental Studios, and Alchemical Records for all their contributions. Most of all, thanks to Matt for wasting a perfectly good hour with us. This has been Another Wasted Hour, and if you just realized that, don't blame us. We warned you.